Part 8. Konoha, I am really not a bad person. Author, Cat on the List. Chapter 71. The warm sun shines down. Uchihasu's voice appeared in the ears of Sarutobi Hiruzen and Third Raikage along with the cool breeze. After hearing this, Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't think anything of it. Uchihasu came at the right time. If it weren't for Uchihasu's arrival, Third Raikage would not have let go so easily. Even though the reason why the Third Raikage decided to give up attacking Konoha was not because of the arrival of Uchihasu, it did make the Third Raikage calm down a lot. However, Uchihasu's casual attitude made the third generation movie very unhappy. It felt like he was afraid of Uchihasu, so he chose to stop. Sarutobi Hiruzen, it seems that you are really in trouble. I didn't expect that the leader of Konoha would be replaced by such a frivolous young man. Third Raikage sneered, and then looked at Uchihasu. 127 Young man, we Cloud Shinobi are preparing to retreat, not because of your so-called reinforcements, nor because we are afraid of you Konoha, but because of our generosity, we have given you a way to survive. Although Third Raikage spoke with confidence, he glanced at Mizukage Yagura behind Uchihasu and Three Tails floating on the sea, and a trace of fear flashed in his eyes inadvertently. There are two decisive reasons why he is preparing to retreat. One is that he does not want to be the first bird, fearing that Rock Shinobi will gain nothing. The second one was the arrival of Mizukage Yagura and Three Tails, which made him confused. Sarutobi Hiruzen heard the voice of Third Raikage and smiled helplessly. The coup in Konoha was unexpected, not to mention other ninja villages. As a person involved, he is still confused about the matter. Uchihasu seemed to appear out of nowhere. And now behind him are Mizukage Yagura and Three Tails, giving Uchihasu a mysterious light. When the Third Raikage eliminated Sarutobi Hiruzen, Uchihasu also led people to the center of the battlefield, forming a triangular opposition with the Konoha Shinobi led by Sarutobi Hiruzen, and the Cloud Shinobi ninjas behind Third Raikage. Uchihasu glanced at Sarutobi Hiruzen casually, then looked at Third Raikage meaningfully. Whether you are afraid of Konoha or not, that is your business, but whether you can leave or not is up to me, Uchiha. Bold, Third Raikage roared. Then, Third Raikage turned to look at Sarutobi Hiruzen without even looking at Uchihasu. Sarutobi Hiruzen, is this your attitude in Konoha? The bitter smile on Sarutobi Hiruzen's face became even stronger. Third Raikage, please don't worry. Although Konoha has the power to fight to the death with Cloud Shinobi Village, not only Cloud Shinobi Village does not want to see this happen, Konoha also does not want to do this. This is a last resort option. In Sarutobi Hiruzen's opinion, Cloud Shinobi's retreat at this time is the best choice for Konoha. Sarutobi Hiruzen wants to persuade Uchihasu. Uchihasu, words are not. However, as soon as Sarutobi Hiruzen opened his mouth, he was interrupted by Uchiha. Sarutobi Hiruzen Jonin, please call me Assistant Hokage. As the Commander-in-Chief of Konoha's front line, don't you know that you should have the due respect for me? Konoha's system is, Genin, Chinin, Jonin, Shadow. The status of Shadow Assistant ranks third among Jonin, second only to. After Sarutobi Hiruzen abdicated, he became the Jonin of Konoha. Mizukage Yagura was in a good mood after seeing Sarutobi Hiruzen being beaten by Uchihasu. Since the war, he has been led by Uchihasu and feels very humiliated. Now Sarutobi Hiruzen, the former Hokage and third-generation player, is receiving the same treatment. He suddenly feels that what happened before is not so unacceptable. Sarutobi Hiruzen was speechless for a while, looking at the young Uchihasu holding a chicken feather as a token, he was speechless. But the overall situation was more important, and Sarutobi Hiruzen endured it. Assistant Hokage, Third Raikage is the shadow of Cloud Shinobi Village, and we should respect him. Uchihasu laughed directly after hearing this. Sarutobi Hiruzen, when did Konoha need to respect its enemies? Didn't you see the bodies of the Konoha shinobi lying around? Their deaths were all due to the invasion of Cloud Shinobi. They are the heroes of Konoha. Now you want to tell me, let me respect Cloud Shinobi, is this what you mean? Uchiha said casually. After hearing this, all the Konoha shinobi around subconsciously clenched their fists. When Sarutobi Hiruzen spoke, they thought Sarutobi Hiruzen was right. At this time, Konoha should really focus on appeasing Cloud Shinobi and let Cloud Shinobi retreat. However, at this moment, they saw the dead bodies of Konoha shinobi around them and looked at their former companions, and they fell silent. Yes, Cloud Shinobi is obviously an enemy, why should we respect him? Sarutobi Hiruzen was speechless and felt extremely awkward. In the past, he liked to use his righteousness to suppress others, but he didn't expect that Uchiha would use his righteousness to suppress him. At this moment, he seemed to be called a traitor in Konoha. Feeling the questioning eyes of all the Konoha shinobi people, I felt uncomfortable all over. Of course he understands what Uchiha said, but, the overall situation is more important. Provoking Cloud Shinobi village now will only plunge Konoha into the quagmire of war, and more companions will die by then. It is better to let the living die then. It is better to let the dead die in their proper place. I do this all for the living. Sarutobi Hiruzen comforted himself in his heart, and then his eyes returned to determination. Assistant Hokage, I know you are young and vigorous, but the deceased has passed away, and we must consider the living. Sarutobi Hiruzen. Uchiha laughed disdainfully. Instead of answering Sarutobi Hiruzen's words, he turned to look at Third Raikage and continued, you are indeed old. Third Raikage met Uchiha 4.9's gaze, with a hint of menace flashing in his eyes. Assistant Hokage, I hear you are planning to keep us. It's funny, what are you relying on? Is it the Mizukage behind you, or the three tails? The appearance of Mizukage Shikara and the appearance of three-dimensional Isofu did make Third Raikage somewhat unexpected. However, these two variables are not enough to make him back down. If Uchiha doesn't give a reasonable reason, he doesn't mind giving the young man a memory. However, as soon as Uchiha opened his mouth, Third Raikage was stunned. I felt unwell yesterday. Update, 1. Please flowers, please flowers, please flowers. Konoha, I am really not a bad person. Author, Cat on the List. Chapter 72. Third Raikage, since you're already here, why not just come to our Konoha as a guest, I will treat you well. Uchiha said meaningfully. Being a guest, Third Raikage wonders what kind of medicine Uchiha sells in the gourd. It's wartime, they Cloud Shinobi and Konoha are at odds. Uchiha asked him to go to Konoha as a guest. Not to mention whether he wanted to go or not, he would not go even if Uchiha asked him to go. This is just like Cloud Shinobi inviting Sarutobi Hiruzen to Cloud Shinobi village before. However, Third Raikage met Uchiha teasing gaze. Suddenly, he seemed to understand what Uchiha meant, and he laughed in anger. As expected of a young man, you don't take us seniors in your eyes at all. In that case, I want to see what your confidence is, Third Raikage said. Blue arcs of lightning appeared on his body. Lightning-style thunder armor. Hey, we're about to start fighting again. I haven't had enough killing just now, right? Zyoba Killer B is eager to try. Don't call me Haki, I'm Jayaki. Allah is the same. Although AI didn't speak, the fire in his eyes was still high. The ninjas in Yun 07 Ninja Village are never afraid of fighting, and they are all war fanatics. If Sarutobi Hiruzen and Jiraiya hadn't resisted fiercely and secretly threatened them, they would have been afraid and wouldn't have been willing to stop. Assistant Hokage, you are simply. Sarutobi Hiruzen hates the fact that iron cannot be transformed into steel. In his opinion, the ending just now was good enough, but Uchiha ignored him completely. At this time, Jiraiya couldn't stand it anymore. Uchiha, stop messing around now. Nonsense. Jiraiya, is it because your teacher is Sarutobi Hiruzen, the former third Hokage, that you can have no authority? As a ninja of Konoha, you actually question me, Jiraiya, are you defecting or surrendering to the enemy? You. Jiraiya's eyes widened when he heard this, and he didn't know what to say. He and Sarutobi Hiruzen thought the same. In the current situation, a tie between Konoha and Cloud Shinobi was already the best choice. Unexpectedly, after Uchihasuke's misbehavior, he would be slapped with a big label by Uchihasuke just by protesting. Uchihasuke didn't even look at Jiraiya. He snorted and started to order directly. The ninjas of Konoha besiege Cloud Shinobi with all their strength, and never let Cloud Shinobi leave alone. After Uchihasuke finished speaking, the ninjas behind him spread directly from the fan shape. Mizukage Yagura and Three Tails also stood up, with chakra surging in their bodies, showing their attitude with actions. Only Sarutobi Hiruzen and the ninjas behind them were a little confused. For a moment, they didn't know whether to move or not. Because their direct commanders are Sarutobi Hiruzen and Jiraiya, and before they came to the front line, Sarutobi Hiruzen was still Hokage. While in the camp during this time, they already knew that Sarutobi Hiruzen had become the former Hokage. But after all, Sarutobi Hiruzen's prestige is still there. As for Uchihasuke, the new Hokage assistant, they are not very familiar with it, so they don't know who to listen to. Uchihasuke didn't care about Konoha Shinobi's performance and just glanced at Sarutobi Hiruzen lightly. Everything is left unsaid. Close your eyes, suppress your heart and wait for him to open your eyes again, then grit your teeth and say, Konoha Shinobi, listen to orders and attack Cloud Shinobi. After saying that, Sarutobi Hiruzen comforted himself in his heart. Although I don't know why Mizukage Yagura and Three Tails followed Uchihasuke's orders. However, with the two of them together, Konoha would at least be able to fight against Cloud Shinobi. Uchihasuke's reaction to Sarutobi Hiruzen is not surprising at all. After all, Nin Seong. At this time, Uchihasuke has already led Konoha Shinobi forward to attack, if Sarutobi Hiruzen dares to stand aside. Whether Uchihasuke succeeds or not, Sarutobi Hiruzen is not to blame. Seeing everyone taking action, Kushina, who was next to Uchihasuke, ducked to Uchihasuke and asked softly, Gee, who do you want me to help you catch this time? Kushina said, her eyes falling on the second-tailed wooden golem behind Raikage. Then, it quickly moved to Mabi's body, and finally landed on Samai's body. Kushina did not shy away from other people's thoughts at all. Terumi Mei, who was behind Uchihasuke, also heard Kushina's suggestion and felt a little embarrassed for a while. She really couldn't understand what Kushina was thinking. However, Terumi Mei silently agreed with Kushina's proposal. As a member of the captives, it would be the best if a new captive appeared. Terumi Mei also glanced at the three Cloud Shinobi girls, and then also looked at Uchihasuke, thinking about what choice Uchihasuke would make. Hearing this, Uchihasuke also looked at the three Cloud Shinobi girls. There is no way, Cloud Shinobi, although there are many ninjas, there are only three figures who are the most outstanding. Uchihasuke looked around the three of them twice. Kushina, can't it be a multiple choice question? Uchihasuke's words are very simple, and he means the same thing when revealed, I want them all. Kushina was stunned for a moment, then raised her eyebrows and showed even more excitement. Yes, why do I have to choose who to capture, can't I just capture all three, 250? Hee, I understand, leave the war to you, and leave the three of them to me, Kushina rubbed her hands together excitedly. Terumi Mei, please assist me. The closeness between Kushina and Uchiha instantly attracted the attention of Sarutobi Hiruzen and Jiraiya. At first, their attention was attracted by Uchihasuke, and they didn't pay much attention to Kushina. Now, coming back to their senses, they looked at Kushina with shock in each other's eyes. Why is Kushina here? Kushina, Aren't you from Nine Tails? How dare Uchiha-suke? What makes them even more incredible is Kushina's attitude towards Uchiha. They don't look like friends or superiors at all. On the contrary, the relationship between Kushina and Uchiha-suke is closer than they remember the relationship between Kushina and Namikaze Minato. In addition, the way Uchiha-suke directed Mizukage and Three Tails caused confusion in their eyes. They only left Konoha for a few days. What happened in Konoha? Why do they suddenly feel that the world in front of them is different from the world they know? I felt unwell yesterday. Update 2. Please flowers, please flowers, please flowers. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Konoha, I am really not a bad person. Author, Cat on the List. Chapter 73. Third Raikage was already furious. Watching the Konoha shinobi approaching, focus on Uchiha-suke. Young man, you are too arrogant, hell thrust, Ipponsen hand. Third Raikage raised his right hand and instantly turned into a blue lightning, charging straight towards Uchiha-suke. However, the next second, a scene that shocked everyone happened. Blocked. Third Raikage looked blankly at Uchiha-suke in front of him, his whole body protected by blue energy. As soon as he came up, he used his strongest ninjutsu, the hell-thrusting Ipponite, which is known as the strongest spear that penetrates all things. Even Sarutobi Hiruzen, faced with his ninjutsu, can only temporarily avoid the itch. However, Uchiha-suke didn't even try to hide, but just blocked it. However, Uchiha-suke did not give Third Raikage much time to think. The huge blue bus stood up from the ground while blocking the Third Raikage's attack, and its majestic armor quickly covered the blue giant. When the blue giant put on the helmet, his eyes shot out with astonishing light. The blue giant raised the long sword with flames in his hand high and slashed at the Third Raikage. Fortunately, Third Raikage finally reacted. The moment he was hit by the long sword, he quickly retreated back and returned to Cloud Shinobi's position. Mangekyo Susanoo, Sarutobi Hiruzen exclaimed when he saw this scene, while his eyes flashed with confusion. As a disciple of Second Hokage, Sarutobi Hiruzen knows Susanoo very well. Sarutobi Hiruzen was lucky enough to witness the battle between Uchiha Madara and Senju Hashirama, which left an unforgettable impression on him. At this time, Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at Mangekyo in Uchiha-suke's eyes, feeling dazed. It felt like I was transported back to a few decades ago, when I was still young. At that time, he only looked up to Uchiha Madara, but now the strange pattern in Uchiha-suke's eyes reminded him of the deepest memory in his heart. Mangekyo Sharingan, is this a type of Sharingan? Jiraiya looked confused. However, what shocked Jiraiya even more was Sarutobi Hiruzen's performance. He had never seen his teacher in such a desolate state. One can imagine how shocked Uchiha-suke's eyes were to him. Third Raikage was also shocked by Uchiha-suke's eyes. Cloud Shinobi Village, as the ninja village that wants to defeat Konoha the most, has the most detailed understanding of Konoha among all the ninja villages. The two names Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Madara are like mountains, weighing on the bodies of all ninja village shadows. While they pass on the position of filmmaking, they also pass on their experiences to future generations bit by bit. The most unforgettable among them are Wood Style and Mangekyo Sharingan. It only took a moment for Sarutobi Hiruzen and Third Raikage to know Uchiha-suke's confidence. Those same eyes as Uchiha Madara. At the same time, they also understood why Mizukage Yagura and Three Tails appeared here. Obviously, Uchiha-suke defeated the Kiri ninja village. Mizukage Yagura and Three Tails reached some conditions with Uchiha-suke and came to help Konoha. Although, Sarutobi Hiruzen still can't understand why the relationship between Uchiha-chan and Kushina is so close. However, he vaguely understood why Kushina appeared here. Although Nine Tails is powerful, in front of Mangekyo Sharingan, Nine Tails is just an obedient pet. Sarutobi Hiruzen had seen it before. Uchiha-ban was controlling Nine Tails like an animal, and Uchiha Madara's contemptuous gesture, Sarutobi Hiruzen would never forget it. "You are really terrible." Sarutobi Hiruzen was silent for a long time, and finally uttered these words. Sarutobi Hiruzen subconsciously recalled the scene where Orochimaru once forced himself in Hokage's office. At that time, Uchiha-suke was like a bystander, following behind Orochimaru without saying a word. At that time, Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't care much about Uchiha-suke. It wasn't until Orochimaru asked Uchiha-suke to serve as Hokage's assistant that he looked at Uchiha-suke a little more. However, Sarutobi Hiruzen now looked at the scarlet Mangekyo Sharingan in Uchiha-suke's eyes, and he understood. He was mistaken. Perhaps the key reason Orochimaru was able to overthrow me, or seize power from me, was because of Uchiha. Orochimaru knows Sarutobi Hiruzen very well, and Sarutobi Hiruzen also knows his apprentice very well. In his opinion, Orochimaru would never do that, and he had never been prepared. The reason Orochimaru finally chose to take action was all because of Uchiha-suke. At this moment, Sarutobi Hiruzen understood many things that he couldn't understand before. However, Sarutobi Hiruzen then seemed to be discouraged and muttered to himself in a low voice. "Maybe, I'm really old." Jiraiya saw that the teacher, Lin Youhao, did not answer him, nor did he continue to press the question, because he could feel the melancholy in his teacher's heart through the teacher's expression. However, Jiraiya still kept the words Mangekyo Sharingan in his heart. In a daze, Jiraiya seemed to understand why the Uchiha clan became the largest family in Konoha. And the teacher, for some reason, has always been afraid of the Uchiha clan. In other words, this fear was inherited from second Hokage Senju Tobirama. Sensei and the others are not afraid of the Uchiha clan. But these eyes. I felt unwell yesterday. Update 3. Please flowers, please flowers, please flowers. Konoha, I am really not a bad person. Author, Cat on the List. Chapter 74. Sighing deeply. Sarutobi Hiruzen forced himself to suppress the distracting thoughts in his heart. Jiraiya, stop thinking about it now, let's follow. Sarutobi Hiruzen paused, subconsciously clenching the monkey demon golden cudgel in his hand. Let's follow, Assistant Hokage, and kill the enemy together. The ninjas of Konoha, come with me and kill. The ninjas behind Sarutobi Hiruzen were already ready to obey Uchiha-suke's order and kill Cloud Shinobi together. They just didn't take action immediately because of Sarutobi Hiruzen's former majesty. Now waiting for Sarutobi Hiruzen's order, they all couldn't bear it and rushed out. Kill, follow Assistant Hokage and kill. The ninjas of Cloud Shinobi have killed so many of our companions. It is simply wishful thinking to want to evacuate so easily. I didn't expect that our Assistant Hokage would be so powerful and easily withstand the third Raikage's attack. Yes, the Commander-in-Chief was not able to block it just now. Could it be said that Assistant Me is stronger than the Commander-in-Chief? But wasn't the Commander-in-Chief known as the strongest Hokage before? What's the strongest? 487. I heard from the gossip that that's what he calls himself. Otherwise, even playing third Raikage would make me sweat profusely. It makes sense. I think Assistant Hokage is more powerful. Don't forget he is only 16 years old. It would be better if the Hokage assistant was Arcage in Konoha. Long live Assistant Hokage. The ninjas of Konoha whispered while fighting back. The main reason was that the reversal of the battlefield situation was so exciting that they suddenly couldn't help but vent their anger. After Sarutobi Hiruzen heard this, he became even more uncomfortable. At the same time, the idea that I am old becomes more intense. Maybe I'm really old. Sarutobi Hiruzen turned around and transferred the resentment in his heart to Cloud Shinobi. Jiraiya suppressed all the doubts in his heart, followed Sarutobi Hiruzen, and rushed into Cloud Shinobi's position. Even with the reinforcements of Uchiha-suke, there are more ninjas in Cloud Shinobi village than in Konoha combined. However, in terms of high-end combat power, offense and defense, ODK, are easy. On the Konoha side there are Uchiha-suke, Sarutobi Hiruzen, Jiraiya, Kushina, Terumi Mei, Mizukage Yagura, Three Tails. As for Cloud Shinobi Village, the only ones that are passable are Third Raikage of Brothers and the second tailed by Wooden Golem. Uchiha-suke easily stopped Third Raikage by himself. The of Brothers are restrained by Mizukage Yagura and Three Tails. Kushina and Terumi Mei were blocked by Wooden Golem, Azabuyi, and Samui. Of the remaining Cloud Shinobi, no one can face Sarutobi Hiruzen and Jiraiya. Not to mention the Hyuga and Uchiha tribesmen led by Hyuga Hisashi and Uchiha Fugaku. The two of them led the team and led the remaining Konoha Shinobi straight in. Cloud Shinobi was no match at all. Cloud Shinobi suffered numerous casualties in a short time, leaving behind a large number of corpses. At this moment, Cloud Shinobi only had the advantage of having more people. And as time goes by, Cloud Shinobi's advantage is getting smaller and smaller. Damn it! Damn it, Third Raikage frowned. He soon discovered that Cloud Shinobi began to die in large numbers, and he was particularly anxious. At the same time, there was a hint of fear in Uchiha-suke's eyes. Because he saw calmness and playfulness in Uchiha-suke's eyes. Although he didn't know why Uchiha-suke had such an attitude, he could tell that Uchiha-suke was not trying his best, just like a cat playing with a mouse. However, Uchiha-suke is not in a hurry, he is anxious. Cloud Shinobi, a large number of ninjas die every minute. The current situation is completely beyond the control of Third Raikage. What conditions did Mizukage reach with Uchiha-suke to travel thousands of miles to help Konoha? Even Three Tails Isofa could do it. And Konoha, when did Jinchuriki gain control of Nine Tails? What gives the Third Raikage the greatest confidence to invade Konoha? Isn't it that Killer Bee has completely controlled Eight Tailsmon to a certain extent? With Eight Tails Jinchuriki, Two Tails Jinchuriki, he doesn't know how to lose. However, Konoha now sends Nine Tails Jinchuriki. Not to mention, the biggest wild card is Uchiha-suke. That's Mangekyo Sharinan. These eyes have not appeared in the ninja world for decades. The Third Raikage never expected that so many unexpected changes would occur just by attacking Konoha. Thinking of this, Third Raikage couldn't help but cast a resentful glance at Sarutobi Hiruzen, who was killing everyone. He lamented that Sarutobi Hiruzen was so good at acting. Before, he had acted like he was losing everything. Who would have thought that Konoha would have so many trump cards? If he had known that Konoha had so many cards, he would never have talked about Konoha's politics. It is time for third generation to think more. Although Sarutobi Hiruzen can't beat him, but placed in Cloud Shinobi, the lethality is too powerful. He had no doubt that given enough time to Sarutobi Hiruzen and the others, they could lead the Konoha Shinobi to easily kill all the ninjas of Cloud Shinobi. Thinking of this, Third Raikage took a deep breath. Regardless of the injury, he forcefully fought off Uchiha-suke, and then quickly came to Ai's side. Ai, you lead Cloud Shinobi to retreat, and I will cut off the rear for you. Third Raikage, then what do you do? Ai, now is not the time to be indecisive. If I die, I will still have you, but if you all die, our Cloud Shinobi village will have nothing. But Ai clenched his fists. Third Raikage directly interrupted Ai. No, but I am the only one who can stop Konoha Shinobi now. Ai, you don't want our Cloud Shinobi village to be destroyed from now on. Thank you all for the flowers. This chapter is updated with more than 200 flowers yesterday. Please flowers, please flowers, please flowers. Konoha, I am really not a bad person. Author, Cat on the List. Chapter 75. I looked at Third Raikage's side face, his nails dug into the flesh, bright red blood appeared in his palms, and his eyes were full of unwillingness. However, he also knew that what Third Raikage said was true. Looking at Ai, who was silent, Third Raikage smiled. Ai, the village will be left to you from now on. From now on, you are the fourth Raikage of Cloud Shinobi Village. Don't let me down. The ninjas of Cloud Shinobi are all straight-tempered and never indecisive. After third Raikage finished explaining, the lightning-style chakra on his body instantly became more intense. There is a hint of dark red blood in the blue lightning. It can be seen at a glance that third Raikage is burning his own life force in exchange for more powerful power. The third Raikage has already saved life and death. Killer Bee, come with me and take Cloud Shinobi, to retreat. Don't let down the sacrifice of the third generation, Raikage. Ai Chiang held back the tears in his eyes and trembling hands, and reluctantly began to command Cloud Shinobi to retreat. Third Raikage also lived up to Ai's trust. After burning his life, his speed was astonishingly fast, traveling on the battlefield like a real lightning bolt. He quickly defeated Sarutobi Hiruzen and Jiraiya, and temporarily freed all Cloud Shinobi. Then, Ai and Killer Bee decisively began to retreat with Cloud Shinobi village. The third Raikage stood in front of all the ninjas of Konoha alone, trying not to open his door. Uchihasuke watched the scene and did not take action. Originally, third Raikage blocked tens of thousands of Rock Shinobi village ninjas by himself and fought alone, buying Cloud Shinobi time to escape. Unexpectedly, Cloud Shinobi village avoided the sneak attack of Rock Shinobi village. In the end, third Raikage still resisted Konoha's ninjas in this manner. Thinking of this, Uchihasuke smiled. Unfortunately, you are not facing Rock Shinobi village this time. At this time, most of the ninjas in Cloud Shinobi village were out of the fighting range and began to retreat backwards. The only remaining two are Wooden Golem and Samui, who are also being restrained by Kushina and Terumime. However, rather than being restrained, it is better to be teased by Kushina. Kitten, black girl, blonde girl, listen to me, you all can be my little wives. Give up resistance. In gold body mode, Kushina can definitely be ranked among the top in terms of strength alone. Not to mention that the second tail consists of Wooden Golem and Samui, who are no match for Kushina. But Kushina did not subdue them immediately. Instead, she restricted their movements and spoke words in their ears that they did not understand. Who are you calling a kitten? Your whole family is a kitten? You want me to be your little wife, I won't. The second-tailed Wooden Golem glared at her beautiful eyes. Azabuye also has black lines on her face. Isn't her skin just a little darker? Why call her a little black girl? This is obviously a healthy complexion. Azabuye likes sunbathing the most. The corners of Samai's eyes were also twitching. The blonde girl, she always felt that this title was wrong. However, as a ninja who licks blood on the tip of a knife, Samai and the others naturally knew that some disgusting things would happen after the female ninja was captured. Especially, they are so beautiful. However, if Kushina was a male ninja, would they still understand? However, Kushina is obviously a very good-looking girl. What Kushina said made them particularly embarrassed and angry. At this time, third Raikage also discovered that Wooden Golem and the others had not left the battle line, and were ready to go to the rescue. Kushina is powerful, but he is not afraid of Kushina when he explodes with all his strength. However, at this moment, Uchihasuke, who had been inactive, stepped forward. The heavily armed half-body Susanoo stood directly in front of third Raikage. At this moment, Ai and Killer Bee also wanted to save Wooden Golem and the others. However, they immediately gave up the idea when they saw Sarutobi Hiruzen Jiraiya and Mizukage Yagure, who were eager to try. Zero, please give me flowers. The third Raikage risked his life to fight for them a chance to escape. If they didn't seize it and move forward, they would probably be held back. By that time, it was too late for them to run away. Killer Bee, let's retreat first. I believe Lord Raikage will never let down Lord Raikage's efforts. Ai wanted to rush forward, but he knew that Cloud Shinobi village couldn't lose him and Killer Bee now. Only Mizukage Yagura and Three Tails beside them always had a trace of doubt in their eyes. They were crushed by Uchihasuke, and they knew Uchihasuke's power better than anyone else. What's really great about Uchihasuke is not Susanoo, but that magical control ability. Mizukage Yagura admitted that Third Raikage was very strong, much more powerful than him, especially when he was in full power. Mizukage Yagura felt that even he could not resist for long. However, if Uchihasuke uses that control ability, Yagura believes that Third Raikage will not be able to resist it either. However, Uchihasuke only uses Susanoo. Although this ability is very strong, it is not enough to face the Third Raikage whose speed has reached the limit of ninja and is covered with lightning. Assistant Hokage, I admit that you are already very strong. This time our Cloud Shinobi village admits defeat, but as a Kage, I have the obligation to protect all my villagers. Raikage, I have let AI and the others go, but Wooden Golem and the others, don't think about it anymore. What do you mean? Raikage, you still haven't seen it now. Third Raikage was silent. No matter how strong you are, I still have to give it a try. Then just try it. Uchihasuke smiled, and then suddenly shouted to Kushina behind him. Kushina! Please flowers, please flowers, please flowers. Please give me flowers, please give me flowers, please keep them fresh for a long time. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Konoha, I am really not a bad person. Author, Cat on the List. Chapter 76. Kushina instantly understood what Uchihasuke meant and was no longer playing cat and mouse. It instantly turned into a beam of golden light and wandered around the two tails, Wooden Golem, Azabuye, and Samui. After the golden light disappeared, the three people instantly lost their ability to resist. Then, Kushina cast 8 sign seal 3 times in a row. All this happened almost in an instant. After the second tail was knocked down by Wooden Golem, his face was filled with stubbornness. Samui and Azabuye are just jonin now, so it's okay to be defeated by Kushina in an instant. As a second tail Jinchuriki, a perfect Jinchuriki, she didn't expect to be defeated by Kushina in an instant. For a moment, she was in a daze and depressed. 303. Is this the power of 9 tails? Is the gap between 2 tails and 9 tails so big? Terumi May ignored the confusion of the three and carried them back to the Konoha camp with a hug. Sarutobi Hiruzen and Jiraiya did not understand what Uchihasuke meant by doing this. However, after seeing Mizukage Yagura, Three Tails, and Hyaga Hisashi, they couldn't be more clear. Because Terumi May, who is currently capturing Wooden Golem and 3 others, was also captured using this method. It seems like Uchihasuke has 3 more wives. Although I know that Uchihasuke is lustful, why did Kushina become an accomplice, and she still enjoys it? They didn't understand, but they were surprised. After all, they are not Kushina and don't know how powerful Uchihasuke is. I don't understand that although there are only exhausted cows in this world, there is no damaged land. But I can't stand this guy's cheating. Kushina admits that taking a milk bath is an extremely comfortable thing, but no one can stand taking it every day. She wants to get a holiday for herself. Tian007, who can bear it? After Kushina finished using the 8 sign seal, she quickly came to Uchihasuke. Grabbing Uchihasuke's hand, golden light flowed, and Uchihasuke soon lit up, and the chakra in his body was quickly replenished. Feeling the warmth of Kushina's hand, Uchihasuke breathed a sigh of relief. Don't look at the calm performance of Uchihasuke just now, but it is still too reluctant for Uchihasuke to fight the main Daishin movie with Mangekyo without using the god body. Especially when facing Third Raikage, who now trade lives for lives. In just a moment, Uchihasuke's eyes were filled with blood and tears, and his vision became blurred. But Uchihasuke still didn't use the godly body, and just looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen meaningfully. Those scarlet blood pupils made Sarutobi Hiruzen afraid to look at him. The third Raikage became even crazier after seeing the two wooden golem and the others being captured. Uchiha-suke, let them go quickly, your eyes can't block mine. Although Uchiha-suke blocked third Raikage, under the continuous attack of third Raikage, the changes in Uchiha-suke's eyes still attracted the attention of third generation. Although Susanoo could resist all his attacks were transformed into damage to some extent, which acted on Uchiha-suke's eyes. He wanted to see whether he died first or Uchiha's eyes couldn't bear it. On the Konoha side, Sarutobi Hiruzen had the same idea in his mind. His teacher was extremely afraid of the Uchiha clan, and naturally knew the Uchiha clan very well. Mangekyo sharing ANIT is not invincible. Great power, but also a huge price. The changes in Uchiha-suke's eyes prove all this. Haha, movie, you don't think you can evacuate so easily if you just endure it, right? Uchiha-suke's laughter echoed in the battlefield. Even AI and Killer B, who had just evacuated not far away, heard it and subconsciously glanced back. The red chakra instantly rises from Kushina's body like a rising flame. Accompanied by Ninetales' arrogant voice. Ha ha ha, I finally came out, Uchiha brat, remember your promise. Kushina turned on full-tailed beast mode. Don't worry, Kurama. Uchiha-suke smiled, ignoring the blood flowing from his eyes, and frantically controlled a large amount of pupil power to pour out of his eyes. Awesome Susanoo, Uchiha-suke took Kushina's hand and came to Ninetales' head. The blue pupil power is like liquid, gradually covering the entire Ninetales, wearing a warrior armor. At the same time, a long knife appeared on Ninetales' waist. When the armor covered Ninetales' whole body, a fully enclosed samurai helmet appeared on Ninetales' head. Then the cover came down with a click, leaving only Ninetales' dark eyes. The powerful blessing made Ninetales laugh even more wildly, and layers of smoke and dust surrounded Ninetales. Haha 0.1 ha 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 ha. Looking at the huge and powerful Susan Ninetales in front of him, third Raikage was stunned, and there was a hint of fear in his heart. The retreating Cloud Shinobi and the surrounding Konoha Shinobi also raised their heads with trembling eyes. At this moment, everyone seems extremely small. There will be more than 26,616 flowers tomorrow, please continue to add more. I made up for yesterday's missed update, and I still owe today's one daily update. Please flowers, please flowers, please flowers. Konoha, I am really not a bad person. Author, Cat on the List. Chapter 77. Ha 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 ha, it's my turn to appear. Ninetales looked up to the sky and roared, holding a long knife with blue flames in its claws, holding its head high and chest high, extremely confident. You kid from the Uchiha clan, you are much more reliable than Madara, I like it. As Ninetales said this, he looked at the thick Susanoo armor on his body. I remember when Uchiha was in front of me, I just used it as a mount. After turning on Susanoo, you can ride directly on it. It is full of naked discrimination and arc riding. On the other hand, Uchiha-suke is much more reliable. Put Susanoo on it with armor. This completely different treatment makes Ninetales feel better about Uchiha-suke. All things are afraid of comparison, Ninetales has begun to recognize Uchiha-suke in his heart. What, you said my Jinchuriki is Kushina? Don't talk nonsense, who is Kushina? I'm not familiar with Kurama, so I'm afraid of misunderstanding. Kurama, it's up to you next time, Uchiha-suke said with a smile. However, it can be clearly seen that Uchiha-suke's smile is a bit forced. Don't worry, the rest will be left to me. Oh ho ho ho. In fact, Uchiha-suke's current level of development of Mangekyo is not enough to use Susanoo to this extent. 07. He now forcibly puts Susanoo on Ninetales, which puts a great burden on his eyes. It can even be said that he is overdrawing his eyesight every moment. Suke, are you okay? Kushina held Uchiha-suke's arm and asked with concern. She could feel Uchiha's body trembling slightly. Don't worry, Kushina, everything is under control. Gee, why don't you use that pupil technique? If you use that pupil technique, even Raikage can't last you for one round, just like when we dealt with Mizukage Yagura and Three Tails before. Kushina said, glancing at the third Raikage below. Using that pupil technique, I can naturally defeat third Raikage easily, but if I show, too strong, won't some people be restrained, Uchiha said meaningfully. Besides, I can take advantage of the opportunity now. Skilling your eyes can save you a lot of trouble. Using Mangekyo directly in battle allows Uchiha to grow much faster than practicing secretly by himself. No wonder it is said that in the war years, geniuses emerged one after another, and the environment created everything. As expected of the brat of the Uchiha clan, you are quite insidious. Although I don't understand what you are planning, I can tell you don't have enough water in your stomach. Nine Tails interjected carelessly. Smelly fox, what are you talking about? Be careful if I sleep with you. Kushina was unhappy when she heard this and raised her fist as big as a sandbag in her hand. Then, Kushina immediately continued to look at Uchiha with concern, without the fierceness at all, as if that person was not her. Jejun, don't I feel sorry for you? You see your eyes are bleeding all the time. Kushina said, wiping away the blood and tears on Uchiha face with her hands, her eyes filled with distress. Uchiha smiled and rubbed Kushina's head, then looked down at Nine Tails. Kurama, take action and let them see our power. Don't worry, I will never hold back. After being imprisoned for so many years, Nine Tails has always been angry and wanted to wreak havoc. Now with Uchiha consent, I can't stand it anymore. Before drawing the sword, Nine Tails' eyes flashed coldly. You kid from the Uchiha clan, do you want to discuss it? I will help you swing one more sword. Nine Tails said. Yi Guang looked in the direction of Sarutobi Hiruzen. Kurama, stick to the original plan and don't make your own decisions. If you want to kill Sarutobi Hiruzen, I will still need you. You don't understand, sometimes death is a kind of relief. Although Nine Tails didn't understand what Uchiha meant, he could hear a hint of Uchiha meaning. Haha, you kid from the Uchiha clan, I know you have a lot of clever ideas, so I have to look forward to it and see what you will do then. After Nine Tails finished speaking, he looked forward, no longer hesitated, put one hand on the handle of the knife, and leaned forward slightly. Looking forward, his eyes were fixed on Raikage and Cloud Shinobi, who was retreating quickly behind him. Look at me, the invincible Super Lord. Nine Tails draws his sword and strikes. In terms of naming, Nine Tails and Kushina are very compatible. Nine Tails roared in his heart and suddenly pulled out the long knife from his waist. In an instant, a crescent-like blue blade of light separated from the blade and struck in the direction of the main generation movie. The light blade was vertical in shape, extremely fast, and drew deep ravines on the ground. In front of the light blade, all ninjas are as small as ants. Is this the power of Nine Tails? It's too terrifying. Third Raikage's pupils trembled. To be honest, although this light blade is fast, it is not that easy to hit the third Raikage that explodes with all its strength. Third Raikage glanced behind him with his peripheral vision. In the direction behind him, Cloud Shinobi was retreating quickly into the distance. Raikage can dodge light blades, something Cloud Shinobi can't do with his speed. If I dodge, the light blade will fall directly in Cloud Shinobi's position, and many Cloud Shinobi will definitely be killed or injured. You can't let the light blade pass in front of me. Third Raikage took a deep breath and roared. Ah! In an instant, the light on Third Raikage exploded. For a moment, it was like a blue ball of light. The lightning was so bright that the third Raikage could not even be seen. Hell thrust, Ippon hand. The dazzling blue light ball retreated instead of advancing in the face of the light blade, and rushed towards the direction of the knife to meet Shangdui. Seeing this scene, AI couldn't help but shed tears. Retreat, retreat quickly. If you hurry up, you can't let Raikage-sama die in vain. AI knows third Raikage too well. When Raikage yelled, he already understood Raikage's choice. Third Raikage is preparing to use his body to resist the attack of 727 Ninetales and buy them the last time. If they don't make good use of this time, they will distance themselves further from Konoha. Once the third Raikage is defeated or dies, they will face Konoha's pursuit. At that time, third Raikage really died in vain. At this time, Killer Bee was no longer as active as he was at the beginning. Looking at the slumped faces of Cloud Shinobi, his heart was filled with tragedy. Jayaki, do you think I can save Lord Third Raikage if I enter the complete tailed beast body? Killer Bee, what are you thinking? That's 9 tails. And there's Uchiha's Mangekyo, that's Mangekyo. Damn it, why are Uchiha's people turning on Mangekyo now? Don't look at it. Jayaki is an 8 tails tailed beast, and the difference between it and 9 tails is only 1 tail. But when Sage of Six Paths divided 10 tails into 9-tailed beasts, it was too biased. It can be said that the 8-tailed beasts of 8 tails combined are not as powerful as 9 tails alone. What will happen if Killer Bee enters the complete tailed beast state now? It's no match for 9 tails. And he also has to face a pair of Mangekyo Sharinan, which are the natural nemesis of tailed beasts. Seeing Mangekyo Sharinan again, Jayaki couldn't help but think of Uchiha Madara back then. This chapter is updated with 200 flowers per day. Thank you all for the flowers. Please flowers, please flowers, please flowers. Konoha, I am really not a bad person. Author, Cat on the List. Chapter 78. Jayaki brought back memories deep in his memory. In front of the pair of Mangekyo Sharinan, their 9-tailed beasts were like puppets. However, in most cases, Uchiha Madara only controls 9 tails. Because Uchiha Madara looked down upon their remaining 8 tails power, even though it was Jayaki who was 8 tails. Jayaki felt depressed just thinking about it. I thought it was 8 tails, but it was so weak that it escaped death. I really don't know if it should be happy or unhappy. Jayaki thought and glanced at 3 tails, 4th Mizukage, Sarutobi Hiruzen, Jiraiya and others in the Konoha camp. If only Mangekyo and 9 tails. He still has the courage to fight it, or the courage to raise his head. But there are more than just Mangekyo and 9 tails in Konoha. Nowadays, the power gap between Cloud Shinobi and Konoha is too huge. Damn it, actually, unexpectedly. Killer Bee followed AI with his head down, his teeth clenched and he didn't dare to look back. He now feels like a deserter lingering on. However, Cloud Shinobi soon ran out of time to think about this. Third Raikage burned his own life force and barely blocked part of the sword light. Even break it into pieces. However, the shattering sword light did not stop. Instead, relying on inertia, they spread out in mid-air and continued to row towards the Cloud Shinobi position. Even because it was broken apart, the area covered by the sword light was even wider. I admired Raikage quite a lot when I saw him sacrificing himself for others and rushing forward to face my attack. However, it seems that the movie has good intentions but does bad things. Uchiha looked at the original complete attack, but now it was like a goddess scattering flowers, falling towards the enemy's camp, and she couldn't laugh or cry. Originally, 9 tails attack was like a laser weapon. Even if it hit Cloud Shinobi's position, it was more of a shock. At most, Cloud Shinobi would cut an obvious area in the middle. Real lethality is very limited. However, after the third Raikage shattered it, it was like a bomb shattering in mid-air and turning into countless small bombs. Large swaths of broken blue blades headed towards Cloud Shinobi. Immediately afterwards, the sound of rumble, 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 appeared not far away. Generates a large amount of smoke and dust, covering the entire location where Cloud Shinobi is. From a long distance away, Uchiha could hear the roars of AI, Killer Bee, and Cloud Shinobi. After Third Raikage withstood the blow, the lamp ran out of oil. His whole body lost all strength, and he fell to the ground as limply as mud, kneeling on the ground. Originally he thought he had done his best, but when he heard the constant roar behind him and looked back at the huge smoke and dust, he was stunned. For a moment, Third Raikage's mood became extremely complicated, his mind was dizzy, and he didn't know what he was thinking. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked forward, his eyes a little dazed. Especially when you see Uchihasuke standing proudly on Ninetales' head, overlooking the earth. Sarutobi Hiruzen feels more and more that Uchihasuke is more and more similar to Madara Uha in his impression, and they gradually overlap. At that time, Uchiha Madara was also so powerful and could not be ignored. Different from Raikage's dullness, Cloud Shinobi's screams, and Sarutobi Hiruzen's trance. The ninjas of Konoha, after seeing Uchihasuke killing everyone. First there was a brief shock, then endless cheers. Long live the assistant Hokage, long live the assistant Hokage. Konoha will win, Konoha will win. Everyone roared with all their strength, as if venting the depression in their hearts after such a long war. It seemed like he was shouting for his dead companions, letting them see that Konoha had won. Yagura, what follows is the era of Konoha, just like it was decades ago. Yes, the Uchiha clan is really enviable. Fortunately, there is only one powerful Uchiha in Konoha now. If another ninja as powerful as Senju Hashirama appears, then our other ninja villages will have no breathing space. Yagura sighed. Road. Three Tails shook his head. Yagura, maybe you should hope that Konoha will have another ninja as powerful as Senju Hashirama. Isofu, what does this mean? Three Tails Ifu sighed, looked at the huge Ninetales body, and spoke slowly after a long time. Although Uchihasuke is not as powerful as Uchiha Madara, but if nothing else happens, his future achievements will definitely not be much worse than Uchiha Madara. Yagura shrugged, refusing to comment. Uchihasuke is indeed very powerful, and he is not surprised to become a powerful ninja like Uchiha Madara in the future. Three Tails Isobutsu sees that Yagura has not yet understood, and her mood becomes a little heavy. It seems you still don't understand how powerful Uchiha Madara is. Uchiha Madara, one person can suppress the entire ninja world. It is precisely because of the existence of Senju Hashirama that curbed Uchiha's ambition that the current structure of the ninja world has emerged. If there had been no Senju Hashirama decades ago, with Uchiha's, Wang Qian's, Madara's ambition. Three Tails came out of that era, and it knows the power of Uchiha Madara better than anyone else. At the same time, it also knows how kind and how Senju Hashirama is. Is it really that strong? Yagura couldn't imagine it. After Mizukage Yagura finished speaking, he suddenly recalled Uchihasuke's strange pupil technique Valley. Inexplicably, I had trust in Three Tails Isofu's words. In a daze, Mizukage Yagura's mood became extremely heavy. Maybe, that's really the case. Just catching up on yesterday's update. I've paid off all the updates I owe, and I'll update next. Please flowers, please flowers, please flowers. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Konoha, I am really not a bad person. Author, Cat on the List. Chapter 79. Long. Only when all the smoke and dust in the sky fell, Cloud Shinobi's ninjas took advantage of the chaos and retreated a large distance. However, a large number of Cloud Shinobi corpses were also left in the smoke. Their death conditions were extremely miserable, and many of the corpses were incomplete. It's not difficult to see how powerful Ninetales' attack just now was. It is not something that ordinary ninjas can resist. As long as they are hit, they will die. Even the blow from Ninetales just now killed far fewer ninjas than the two previous fights between Konoha and Cloud Shinobi. Assistant Hokage, are we going to pursue Cloud Shinobi now? Hyaga Hisashi stood up at this time and asked. Hyaga Hisashi's voice was loud, and all the ninjas in Konoha heard it, and their eyes flashed with eagerness to try. They were not afraid of fighting Cloud Shinobi head-on just now. If Raikage hadn't exploded and forcibly isolated Konoha's ninjas from Cloud Shinobi's ninjas, they could have continued to fight. Now that Uchiha has broken Cloud Shinobi's courage, he can only beat the drowned dog, and they will not be afraid. Sarutobi Hiruzen was unusually silent, even though he thought enough was enough for now. If the fighting continues, Konoha's casualties will increase. Enough people have died so far in the war. Moreover, don't chase after poor enemies. It's best to stop now. 770. But what he said at this time didn't matter at all. All the ninjas in Konoha looked at Uchiha with burning eyes. Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't want to stand up in vain and be criticized by Uchiha. If we say that when Uchiha first came, he was the front-line commander, and the ninjas behind him were very obedient to him and followed his orders. So, there was the scene where Uchiha violently beat up Third Raikage. By this time all the shinobi of Konoha had recognized Uchiha. I regard Uchiha as the assistant of Hokage and the spokesperson of Hokage from the bottom of my heart. At this time, Uchiha issued an order again. The ninja behind Sarutobi Hiruzen would never have any doubts that all production conditions would be carried out according to Teiha's order. Sarutobi Hiruzen knows all this and naturally won't stand up and be that clown. Jiraiya was equally silent, and he could also see the changes in the situation in Konoha. Nowadays, only those family ninjas who follow his teacher and share common interests can still obey his teacher's orders. The vast majority of Konoha shinobi have already stood behind Uchiha and stood behind Hokage. Uchiha can also see that Cloud Shinobi's momentum has dropped to the bottom line. If the ninja trapped in the leaves catch up, they will definitely be able to expand their results. However, Third Raikage did buy them some time. Even if Konoha catches up, it won't be able to kill too many ninjas. And if they go deep into the Kingdom of Thunder, the war will definitely not end for a while. This is not what Uchiha wants to see. At this stage, he wants peace more than anyone else. With peace and stability, Uchiha can quickly gain emotional points and become stronger at an incredible speed with the help of the system. Of course, what's more important is that Uchiha just received Orochimaru's message. Ji-jun, there is something strange underground. No, Hisashi, everyone has reached their limit. Although we can kill many more Cloud Shinobi ninjas if we rush forward now, rabbits will bite people when they are anxious. Under the pressure of death, our Konoha ninjas are likely to die at the hands of Cloud Shinobi. This is not worth it. Besides, that's enough for now, isn't it? Uchiha said with a smile. That gentle smile fell on the eyes of all Konoha shinobi, and their eyes were suddenly filled with gratitude. The appearance of Uchiha not only changed the situation of the battle, but also put their life and death first after expanding the situation of the battle. Assistant Hokage has them in mind. A scholar dies for a confidant. Although Uchiha does not intend to continue the attack, they have completely regarded Uchiha as the object of their admiration. Long live the Hokage assistant, long live the Hokage assistant. Konoha wins, long live Konoha. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at everything in front of him and Uchiha in the crowd, feeling lost. He doesn't know what Uchiha means. Normally, shouldn't this idea be his? He also knew that if he said those words just now, he would definitely face resistance from the entire Konoha shinobi community. But, in the same words, why can Uchiha gain the gratitude of all Konoha shinobi people by saying it? Thinking of this, Sarutobi Hiruzen became even more excited. It's okay, Uchiha-su's eyes are much darker than before. His eyesight must have declined a lot. Sarutobi Hiruzen comforted himself in his heart. This is the only good news he has received in so many days. Hisashi, then you will lead some ninjas to clean the battlefield and arrange some ninjas to stay at the checkpoints. The other ninjas can return to Konoha to repair. Oh, by the way, after returning to Konoha, don't forget to send Konoha's envoys to Cloud Shinobi Village and ask them to sign the defeat compensation document. Although Uchihasuke has let go of Cloud Shinobi Village for the time being, he does not intend to let it go. He doesn't want to be like Sarutobi Hiruzen, who clearly wins but compensates the other party. You wants to cut Cloud Shinobi to death again, with a severe knife. As for Cloud Shinobi Village, I won't sign it. That's not up to them. Uchihasuke thought as he glanced at Third Raikage, who was slumped on the ground. At this time, Uchihasuke didn't even use the godly body, and the Third Raikage was as motionless as mud. Kusina, go put an 8-sign seal on our Third Raikage, and at the same time let the medical ninja provide the best treatment to Third Raikage. After all, I have already said before that we will let Third Raikage visit our Konoha. We in Konoha can't keep our word. Third Raikage, who was completely lost in thought, suddenly shuddered when he heard Uchihasuke's words. He originally thought he was dead, but he never expected that Uchihasuke would send ninjas to treat him. Are you still planning to take him to visit Konoha? Where is the tour? They were obviously treating him as a hostage. Thinking of this, Third Raikage became particularly excited. Uchihasuke, don't even think about it. Even if I die, I will not let your plot come true. The Third Raikage is well aware of Cloud Shinobi's worship and belief in him. Once he is caught, it is equivalent to grabbing 7 inches of Cloud Shinobi Village. He couldn't imagine how much damage his presence would bring to the entire Cloud Shinobi Village. Realizing this, Third Raikage decisively prepared to commit suicide. After forcibly taking a breath, Third Raikage once again stirred up light blue chakra. The lightning is looming, sometimes disappearing, and it can be seen that the Third Raikage has really entered the end of the war. That's not up to you, Third Generation Shadow. Uchihasuke said. Mangekyo appeared again in his eyes. Mangekyo God Body. Although the recommendation votes are only 499, the author will add a chapter for himself tomorrow. Ha ha ha, I bought 500 recommendation votes to get more updates. Please vote for recommendations, vote for recommendations, vote for recommendations. Konoha, I am really not a bad person. Author, Cat on the List. Chapter 80. Shrouded in mysterious power, Third Raikage instantly lost control of his body. Not to mention wanting to commit suicide, Third Raikage actually doesn't even have the ability to open his mouth now. Only his brain is still functioning throughout his body. This powerful absolute seal made Third Raikage feel dazed, as if he had realized something. However, Uchihasuke did not give Third Raikage a chance to speak, and kept all his words in his heart. Third Raikage just stared blankly at Uchihasuke's eyes. Mangekyo. This power made Third Raikage tremble, endlessly. However, what made Third Raikage tremble even more was the obvious playfulness in Uchihasuke's eyes. Obviously he can defeat me directly. At this point, Third Raikage has no doubt that if Uchihasuke had used this pupil technique on him from the beginning, he would have been defeated instantly and would have been unable to fight back. However, Uchihasuke didn't do that. Not only that, but he was also allowed to express himself at will, deliberately making the momentum extremely high. For a time, Uchihasuke changed from a powerful ninja to something profound and unpredictable in the eyes of Third Raikage. Third Raikage didn't know Uchihasuke's purpose of doing this, but he was sure that Uchihasuke had other intentions. Or a bigger plot. And he is just a pawn in the hands of Uchihasuke. He now wanted to ask Uchihasuke why he did this and what was the purpose of it. However, Uchihasuke did not give him this opportunity. Uchihasuke smiled and looked away at Hyuga Hisashi. Hisashi, next, take our Third Raikage to visit our Konoha and do our hospitality well. Hyuga Hisashi nodded repeatedly. Yes, Sir Hokage. Later, Hyuga Hisashi took away the Third Raikage, who was sealed with 8 seals. During this period, Hyuga Hisashi also fed Third Raikage some medicine for insurance purposes. Seeing that Third Raikage was like mud and his whole body was weak, Uchihasuke probably guessed what kind of medicine it was. To prevent Third Raikage from committing suicide. Regarding Hyuga Hisashi's attentiveness, Uchihasuke secretly nodded. Then, Uchiha jumped off Nine Tails with a smile. "You brat of the Uchiha clan, remember your promise, don't forget it," Nine Tails added nonchalantly. "Don't worry, I will fulfill my promise to you when this war is over." Uchihasuke didn't look back. Uchihasuke had already discovered an item in the emotion mall that could allow Nine Tails to come out of Kushina's body. Worth 50,000 emotional points. The value is not low, but if the war ends and peace returns to the ninja world, it will only take a few days for Uchiha. And if you fool Nine Tails well, Nine Tails is a very powerful fighter. This time Uchihasuke was able to easily defeat Mist Ninja and Cloud Shinobi in a row, and Nine Tails contributed a lot. After receiving the affirmation, Nine Tails returned to Kushina's body with satisfaction. Then, Kushina returned to the Konoha camp with Uchihasuke. The two of them, Wooden Golem, Samui, and Azabi, were controlled by Terumi Mei. After seeing Uchihasuke arriving, Wooden Golem glared at Hokihasuke and scolded him. "Uchihasuke, please let go of Third Raikage-sama quickly, or I'll have a better look at you." The second tale was said by Wooden Golem, purring like a cat with exploded fur. "You want me to look good? How do you want me to look good?" Uchihasuke laughed. "If you want to be good looking." The second player, Wooden Golem, originally wanted to beat Uchihasuke, but thought that she had been subdued now, and she couldn't beat Uchihasuke even if she wanted to. "I want you to look good, I just want you to look good," Wooden Golem, the second tail, said bravely. Uchihasuke smiled and stopped directly in front of the second-tailed Wooden Golem. He held Wooden Golem's chin with one hand and touched it gently. The second-tail man, Wooden Golem, felt Uchihasuke's dirty hands and opened his mouth to curse Uchihasuke. However, after hearing Uchihasuke's voice, she was stunned. "By Wooden Golem, I don't know how good you want me to look, but don't forget, Third Raikage is in my hands now. If you don't listen to me, I can't guarantee how the main generation movie will be treated in Konoha. 0*. By Wooden Golem, you don't want the Third Raikage to be tortured in Konoha." Uchihasuke smiled happily, reaching out and pinching Wooden Golem's face. "It feels like petting a cat. Q-bomb Q-bomb." If there weren't so many people present, Uchihasuke, in order to maintain his character, You. By Wooden Golem looked at Uchihasuke in front of him and said nothing for a long time. Finally, he gritted his teeth and uttered a few words. "Uchihasuke, you are so shameless." Uchihasuke did not reply, but looked up and down at Wooden Golem. It seems that he is using his actions to prove that what he said is right. Feeling Uchihasuke's gaze, Wooden Golem instantly clamped her legs together, as if a mysterious force swept over her body, making her feel extremely uncomfortable. Fortunately, Uchihasuke's eyes did not stay on her for long, which made Wooden Golem heave a sigh of relief. Uchihasuke soon turned his attention to Wooden Golem. Wooden Golem looked up and saw Uchihasuke looking at Azabuye and Samui behind her with interest. It lingered on Mabui's slender legs and stroked across Samui's huge peach. Feeling Uchihasuke's unabashed indulgence, both of them lowered their heads and blushed. They didn't dare to say a word, because what Uchihasuke just said was very clear: the Third Raikage is now in his hands. The second tail man, Wooden Golem, saw this scene and couldn't help but speak out again. "Uchihasuke, come at me if you have anything. Don't hurt Samui, Azabuye. Now, you are not afraid that I will hurt Raikage?" Uchihasuke turned around and said. "Not even Raikage. Otherwise, I must make you look good." The second tale was spoken by Wooden Golem, showing his little tiger teeth, flashing in the sun. Uchihasuke was really scared when he saw this. Because the little tiger teeth can really bite. Please flowers, please flowers, please flowers. Guys, bring some flowers. Give some to your kids.